just to keep it a buck with you guys, I didn't trade very good for the month of February. And I didn't really place much trades the entire last half of February into the beginning of March. Today, I put on my first swing trade in over 2 weeks. I'm going to get into it, why I see a little bit of conviction in the broad market today, but also why there's a couple setups out there that I like the risk reward from a swing trade standpoint. So without further ado, let's get into the broad market. As you guys know, my swing trading strategy revolves around constructive broad market setups. And we just didn't have that over the last week, over the last 2 weeks, really over the better part of the last 2 months in the broad market. We haven't had great setups. And we have just been stuck in this range, guys. We've just been stuck trading sideways here between 630 and 580 since October last year. Just been kind of choppy, So same with SPY, just kind of choppy up here. I tell you guys, today was very interesting. After yesterday, we kind of sold off. We swept all this liquidity on SPY just to rebound and pop right back up to the 50-day. And really, it looks like today's candle is going to close pretty strong. So I'm not tripping on this, There's a couple setups I like there with QQQ and SPY kind of starting to gain some momentum here back to the 50 MA. And some of you are going to say, the 50 MA is going to be it's going to be kind of a roadblock for price as we get up higher. Guys, and I see where you're coming from there, but the reality of the situation is that the moving averages don't mean as much, guys, when price is in this kind of choppy, grinding sideways type of action right here. Moving averages are going to mean a lot more when price is in this range-bound trading action, okay? So we kind of came down here. We swept a lot of liquidity. We got near the 200-day, and we put in a strong candle bouncing off of it. So I don't think the 50-day acts as like a complete roadblock barrier, But with that being said, I like the constructive nature of the broad market right now. No reason to trip about war or, trip. And on SPY, the 50-day is actually moving kind of upwards here with the trend. So UVXY, I told you guys it was at the forefront of my attention. It was the only interesting chart that I saw out there. And we got a nice little pop out of that contracted base from UVXY. We actually went from like $35 to 50 in the span of a few days in the volatility index just to sell off again. We sold off, and nothing tells me that the bearish trend won't just continue here on UVXY. In fact, the risk reward favors a bearish continuation to the downside on UVXY. So when I get into the individual setups, a couple trades that I, put on today, nothing crazy, but I like the risk reward from a swing trade standpoint. OKLO kind of got this falling wedge action here, and kind of got this falling wedge action, kind of got a tight price range. When you look here in the past year, we've really kind of formed a tight constructive base here, and we have yet to see a substantial pop out of this range. So, risk on something like OKLO, risk like $62, targeting, definitely take a good profit at 70 and then roll up for $80 would be, where I'd be looking to take a swing trade on OKLO. And then MP, I also like the setup here on MP. The contraction above the 50-day and how we're putting in 2 inside days now, above 65, this thing has space up to 75. So nice setups, just nothing crazy, not A+ by any means, but definitely solid risk reward setups that I've got some skin in the game and I'll be keeping tabs on going forward. So I wanted to just kind of update you guys where my head's been. I've been doing other things outside of the market to take my mind off of this shitty trading action that we've had over the past 2 or 3 weeks. So, let's keep some tight leashes on these trades, but also, hey, no risk. There ain't no reward when you're playing this game. So I'm willing to put a little risk on here because I like the risk reward, guys. Peace. Hit me up if you have any questions, if you want to join the Discord. If you guys don't know, during these choppy trading periods, there's actually some pretty good risk to reward in the futures markets with this trading action that we've had. So, and guys, I'm funded on 150K account. I haven't really traded it much. I'm sitting at 49,950. I've got these other three eval accounts that I'm working on, and I want to get all four together so I can copy trade and I can go for a substantial payout that actually is worth my time here. This one's chilling at 51,088, nothing crazy. This one's at 51,565, so halfway to my profit threshold of 53K. And then this one's at 52,451. I am literally like right on the cusp of getting that second funded account pushed through. If I can get to 3, that's good enough for me to start, with the live accounts, copy trading, but I want all 4. And so I'm grinding. You guys need to join the Discord so you can come in, you can learn what I'm doing with these trades. Just simply targeting liquidity sweeps. What I'm doing, like today, guys, the trade I took was actually whenever we inverse this 4-hour gap on NQ, this gap right here, we inversed that 4-hour gap. We pushed up here above equilibrium, above the 50% retracement, but price action was still bullish on the day. And I had this draw up here, these 3 relative equal highs where price was just ready to be like a magnet and draw to them. So I finally entered on this 1-minute inversion right here to the upside. You guys can see here. I took this trade right here. This wick was kind of nasty. It stopped me out of a little bit of my position on some other accounts, but I was able to capitalize on the majority of that move up to that, relative equal highs. And this count saw the bulk of that profit there. And I'm just a slight bit away from getting that account passed through too, guys. Shit, I almost want to risk it today and just get it so it's funded tomorrow, but it's not worth it. We're not trading this afternoon price action. We're going to hold steady, come back tomorrow, and lock in and get that thing passed to the live stage. But that's what's up, guys. Keep it a buck with you. Swing trading was not that great in the month of February. That's why you haven't seen me as active as on YouTube as I usually am. But let's get these, OKLO and MP. Those are my looks for the next 3 days, potentially into next week. I bought calls for 2 weeks out. Peace, guys. That's all I got.